Open your books to page 778 to 24.5 nucleic acids. Guide for reading, key concepts. What are the functions of the DNA and RNA? How long of a base sequence of DNA is required to specify one amino acid in a peptide chain? What are gene mutations? What forms the basis of a method of identifying a person from biological samples? What is the recombinant DNA technology? Vocabulary: nucleic acids, nucleotides, and gene.
Connecting to your world. Maybe people have told you that you have your mother's eyes or your father's nose. Although this is not literally true, your eyes and nose are your own. You do inherit the instructions for assembling the proteins of your body from your parents. In this section, you will learn what these instructions are called and how they code for proteins.
DNA and RNA. DNA stores the information needed to make proteins and governs the reproduction and growth of cells and new organisms. RNA has a key role in the transmission of information stored in DNA and the synthesis of proteins. The genetic code.
You missed one.
Did? Oh. The three bases of DNA arranged in specific sequences are required to specify one amino acids in a peptide or protein chain. Gene mutations. Substitution, addition, or deletions of one or more nucleotides in a DNA molecule are called gene mutations. DNA fingerprinting. The variation in the DNA of individual forms the basis of a method of identifying a person from a sample of his or her hair, skin cells, or body fluid. Recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology consists of methods for cleaving a DNA chain, inserting a new piece of DNA into the gap created by the cleavage, and sealing the chain.
Applications in medicine, applications in agriculture, and cloning.
Pictures.
Figure 24.14. This photo shows strands of DNA extracted from cellular material.
Figure 24.15. The nucleotide monomers of DNA are linked together through their phosphate groups.
Figure 24.16. The two DNA strands in a double helix are held together by many hydrogen bonds. There are 2 hydrogen bonds between each thymine and adenine and 3 hydrogen bonds between each cytosine and guanine.
Figure 24.17. This space-filling model shows only a tiny segment of DNA molecule and gives you an idea of the enormous mass of the entire molecule.
Figure 24.18. The abbreviated molecular structure of hemoglobin, the oxygen transporting protein of the blood, is shown here. The hemoglobin molecule consists of 4 peptide chains, each containing a heme group. B. In the genetic disorder sickle cell anemia, defected hemoglobin causes red blood cells to take on a distorted shape. C. Normal red blood cells have a donut-like shape. Interpreting diagrams. How many nitrogen... What? Interpreting diagrams. How many nitrogen atoms does a heme group contain?
Figure 24.19. This scientist is comparing DNA fingerprints. DNA fingerprinting is an important tool in the identification of people. A person's DNA fingerprint contains DNA fragments that are characteristic of his or her father and mother, but that would not be identical to those of the father or mother.
Figure 24.20. Included here are the elements of an experiment involving recombinant DNA. In this experiment, DNA from one organism is inserted into the DNA of a different organism.
Figure 24.21. These genetically engineered tomatoes were altered to increase the length of time it takes to ripen them.
Figure 24.22. Dolly the sheep had no father. She was cloned from a single cell taken from her mother. Dolly died in February 2003.
Okay, take out a piece of paper and emulate. I don't hear paper getting out. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a basic outline. You're gonna do the basic outline, and then we're gonna have it draw a couple of things after you do the basic outline.
The outlets like the full.
Yes.
So you write DNA and RNA, and then on the bottom you write the blue, and then after that you write the other that.
Hey, Ragul.
Yeah. No, you gotta have it on you, as long as,
I don't think he's a big nightmare.
Okay.
just push it down. But make sure you put it back up.
Are we
when-
doing this one?
Okay.
So this sickle cell anemia, how many of you ever heard of it?
What figure are we looking at?
They haven't told us yet.
So not many of you have heard of it. It is common among people that have a Mediterranean ancestry. A lot of times black people have that sickle cell anemia. Now, what it does, instead of your donut-shaped blood cell, it looks like a crescent. They call it a sickle, but it looks like a crescent. And because it isn't nice and round, yeah, thank you. Because it's not nice and round and can't bounce through your vascular system easily, these sickles or these crescent-shaped blood cells get caught on each other, and they cause clots in your bloodstream that causes extreme pain. Sometimes you can get them. You ever have just a pain and you know it's down deep in your tissue and you go, what the heck was that? And it goes away right away. Well, these people that have sickle cell, it goes on like that for hours. And because it is that sickle cell shape, it does not carry oxygen like it should. And that's the anemia. You don't get the oxygen that you need in your bloodstream and you become anemic. All right. Why does it keep going on? Let me just finish this. Why do we have this? There is an adaptive advantage to having a sickle cell. You say, what could that be, Mr. R? If you have sickle cell, you are less likely to get malaria.
Outline.
So those people that are in the Mediterranean area, less likely to get malaria and live longer, so it is an adaptive advantage. Go ahead.
Okay, on page 782, there's the
Pat the bad cat, you're gonna write down those 3 variations.
The what?
the 3 different variations of the 3-letter word combinations.
Yeah.
It's not a figure, it's just on page 782.
It's under gene mutations.
So 82.
And then after that, you're gonna draw figure 24.20,
And that's it.
and that's it. And then we'll move on to our cues as soon as you're done.
Hey, is Sadie Hawkins dance 6 to 11 tonight?
6:11.
What,
I'm pretty sure it's like
Well,
8
tell me,
6
what
to 8 or
time does
something.
it start?
It's like 8 to 10, I think.
Yeah.
8 to 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you chaperoning, Mr. R?
Say that again?
Are you chaperoning?
No.
Oh.
I just gotta
Set
get
up
For the
somebody
week
there to
is
video
on
it.
threat within between.
Wasn't it set up by middle
For
school?
the pat the back cat, whatever, do we have to write the things in between?
No,
We
just
write
No, just write the.
write the 3 thingies that it shows.
Wait, what are we doing after that?
Then do figure 24.20.
How are we doing?
24.20.
Which one are we doing?
24.20.
And you guys know this is how restless
No, I feel so bad.
and that's why I never read. Pick up a book. Get way too mad. Throw a kid out the window.
Love.
Okay, John, you're the first one.
Come on. I'll even break the window for you.
It's like a low jab at yourself.
gotta learn to laugh at yourself sometimes.
So under that, right?
Hold up. Okay, now I'm ready.
I'm just, I'm not gonna start the RQs, I'm just saying. Under what you just did, right, section 24.5, RQs 1 and 2, page
785.
Don't I always do that too? And just say, hey, get it ready down there, because we might go before you're done. Hey, come on, quit messing with me. I am.
I am.
No.
Do you want to read the first one? Read the second?
Do we have to like? Oh yeah. Never mind.
Hey, John,
Okay.
read the first question.
But I don't wanna.
Read the first question. Read the first question.
What functions are performed by DNA and RNA?
1.
Wait, what? Are we already doing RQs?
Hold up.
Okay,
mate.
just,
We didn't even give
are we,
Okay, which one do I have to copy so I can figure it out?
the first key concept and the second key concept.
It's like a short trip, like a section 2. So it's not like you really have to figure out right.
785.
Oh, is it that? Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, we're gonna start it. 1. Capital DNA stores the information needed to make proteins and governs the reproduction
Needed to make
way
protein.
too fast.
needed to make proteins
It's on the very first
DNA stores the information.
needed to make proteins and governs the reproduction and growth of cells and new organisms.
Wait, of growth in cells.
Yeah, and new organisms. Period. So DNA stores the information needed to make proteins and governs the reproduction and growth of cells and new organisms. Period. Second sentence.
RNA has a key role in
What is it?
Capital RNA has a key role in the transmission
In the transmission.
of the information stored
Transmission. Of the what, sir?
of the information stored
in DNA
in DNA and the synthesis of proteins.
And what synthesis?
The synthesis of proteins. So the whole thing was DNA stores the information needed to make proteins and governs the reproduction and growth of cells and new organisms, period. RNA has a key
popular.
role in the transmission of the information stored in DNA and the synthesis of proteins. And Seamus, read the second
The
question.
library, the lab, and back to the library for testing.
What does a three-letter base sequence
accept
needed
this.
specify?
All right.
okay, number 2, capital H,
No, what?
capital T, not H. I'm tired, sorry. 3 bases of DNA. Where did I get that? Okay. Arranged in a specific sequence. Are required to specify one amino acid in a peptide or protein chain. P.
Potato.
Yes,
Banana.
potatoes.
Poop.
Period.
Popsicle. Any what?
Nice.
And we be done.
Okay.